Hello, my friends. Grab a wrap, absolutely. It's a beautiful day here. Oh yeah, I love Rav and Handpans equally. Glad you found the live. I do all sorts of lessons and have many albums, so if you haven't caught any of my albums, my last one was Lux Natura, and that has Rav and mandolin. You can move closer to that. There we go. Maybe my voice will be better here. There we go. Any better? Yeah, so most of my lives in music is Rav and Handpan, Connie, so thanks for hanging out. This was off my last album that came out last month, called Wild Spaces. Let's see, beautiful. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's probably 70-ish degrees today here. It's absolutely beautiful out. Let me show you around here. That's where I'm hanging out at the moment. So let me, Connie, let me grab another instrument. Be sure to hit like whoever's watching this as well. G Mystic is fantastic. Jody, if you wait another 2 weeks, I'll have the Rav Moons in as well, so you get to try those out. Let me grab a couple of Ravs for you guys. All right, I'm back with Ravs. So this one, hello. Thank you for checking in, buddy. Same to you. This is a Marmara. Hey, Robert. So the one to my left here is a Sonito da Mano. Super beautiful. And his instruments have a really long sustain and a really nice bloom. So this one, I'll just give you a demo of the bloom of this. Super powerful bloom. I like that. I'm able to control it. I know people like less or more bloom depending, but I like it. So this is the Marmara scale, and this instrument is something that, thank you, Jody, appreciate it. This is an instrument that I convinced Rav to make because they had this as a prototype in their workshop and it was just sitting in a bin. And I said, oh, I'd love to try it, even if you don't think it's a good scale, I'll still give it a try. And I absolutely fell in love with it. So I'm very glad that I convinced him to make it eventually because it's one of the better scales, I think. Sonito, S-O-N-I-D-O, D-D-E-M-A-N-O, Mano. Sonito da Mano. And he's in Italy. If you message me on Instagram as well, it's Rewildyoursoul, same name as this. I can send you the name as well. Yes, the Marmara. This is actually an Aegean scale, technically, in handpan lingo. But Andre named it after the, I think it was some sort of quarry. Maybe the marble quarries where he's from. So anyways, this is a song off the last album, Lux Natura, which is on Spotify. So anyone who hasn't listened to the album, you should listen to that. It has mandolin on it. I'm missing my mandolin player friend at the moment, but how long did it take me to learn to play? I've been playing for about 8 years now, but I have students all over the world that start playing, in a week. But in order to find how you sound on the instrument, it takes a little bit longer. And once you develop your own style, it becomes easier. I teach song-based lessons, so anybody that's looking to learn actual music, it's a much more entertaining way to learn. So this song is called Lux Natura. easier time learning to write on these because I was a guitar player before this, writing a lot of music on there, so. But I mostly write by ear, I'm not doing it logically necessarily. But I have an audiographic memory, so it's easier for me to remember things than other people, song-wise at least. This is probably the second oldest rap that I have in my collection here. This is called a Ravvast, R-A-V-V-A-S-T. Hello to anybody who's not usually on these lives. R-A-V-V-A-S-T, Ravvast. And the other instrument to my other side is called a handpan. Hey Ben, yeah, you know, it's funny with some of the Temu instruments. Obviously, I'm friends with a lot of handpan makers. I'm a full-time performer and teacher on these instruments, so I'm spending a lot of time with instruments that my friends have made for me. And you know, my first instrument was a piece of junk, and this was 9 years ago. And I think if that's how people want to do it, there's no shame in buying a cheap instrument and then upgrading if you want to upgrade. The thing is, the buy into purchasing a handpan or entering the community it's pretty expensive. So I understand why people don't want to spend $1 million on it and see if they like it. So I totally get it. So congratulations and good for you. So yeah, it's true. It's true. I have tons of free lessons on my page, Ben, as well, so you're welcome to take a look at that. Also on my Instagram channel, there's tons of free lessons there. I have for paid lessons, I have like 30 weekly students from all over the place, but there's plenty of free stuff to get you going on there, so definitely check out the rest of my page too. Yeah, Crystal has a Temu pan, and it's fine. You know, the argument that people have against the cheaper Chinese pans is that you don't have anybody to retune it. Sometimes people will give you a hard time about retuning a Chinese instrument if it hasn't been made well. And it's, you know, some makers will tune them, like David Beery of Dave's Island Instruments will retune them. I know Hamsa will do it as well. So there's a lot of good reasons to go with a maker you know, but when I first started to play, I wouldn't have had the money either, so I totally get it, 100%. So, what scale did you get, Ben? I'm curious. D curd, nice. I would say my favorite scale would be curd, which is one. Pygmy is my other favorite scale. Low pygmy is a great scale, and I also like the normal pygmy version, which is, I guess, the pan art version. Both of those are great. There's a lot to say on a curd scale. A lot of people get stuck. Yeah, curd is one of the better ones. The way you can tell if your instrument has a lot to say is that if you hit the center note, I happen to know what this is, obviously. This is a C center. So it's like your D chord, but it's in C. And if I know that when I get to the octave of that note, that's a C here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 notes before I get to that repeat note. That tells me that I really have 4 different root notes to use when I'm writing a piece. And the more of these until you get to the same note as the center, the more you have to say. And an example of that would be if, say I wanted to play, just walking down from the top, and I was using the 1, and the 2, and the 3, and the 4. I have 4 different movements to use on the bottom half of the instrument. And you can really think about handpans as chopped in half. The bottom half is your root notes, or your sort of chord progression, and the top half is your melodic notes, or what you can use to fill in the sounds as well. So, in terms of other scales, double ding, yeah, Jody, that's another great one as well. Double ding has a ton of different things to say. I was doing the drop D or something. Yeah, yours is probably a D chord, Ben, I would imagine. D minor, usually. I like 432 hertz in theory. I like the story behind it. I only own one 432 hertz RAV. I work for RAV. I work with them pretty closely. And I like the idea behind 432 hertz. For me as a performing musician, it's not very practical because it means I can't play with anybody until they down tune. Yeah, so, no, not at all. So the B major and the D major are the same layout. So just they're in different keys. So I have lessons for all of the different scales, but the D Celtic lesson is the same as the B Celtic lessons. So it's cross applicable. Anybody that's in here didn't hear that before. I teach song-based lessons on every RAV scale that they offer. So, in terms of scales for the RAV moons, Connie too, if you want to reach out, rewildyoursoulmusic.com is my website, my email's on there, and also you could check me out on Instagram, it's rewildyoursoul, or message me there, that's easier, or Facebook or wherever, I'm all over the place, so. So RAV moons, so the RAV moons, actually they revealed the scales already, so there's going to be the D Hejaz, D Russ, D F sharp Arayumi, D Celtic, and D integral, and D major. For now, they're just going to be in D. However, there's eventually going to be other scales, maybe scales that are normal size with the new tongues. So super excited to see how the new shape of the tongues changes things for people. And I think it's going to feel a little more like hitting a handpan note as well. So I'm curious to see what the difference is between the two of them. So let me take a look. Let's see. Modern music, so kind of, yes, is the answer. I think handpans are better designed for writing your own music in a particular key, or for playing as an accompaniment, or playing for meditation or yoga. I'm not in the meditation and yoga world, Oleg, so my interest is writing on it like I would write a song on guitar, so with voice, or by myself, or with a mandolin. The limitation is that I don't have all of the notes walking up. It's not all of the notes in the D minor, so it's a diatonic scale, so there's essentially five notes available typically, and then they repeat in octaves. So you could play modern music, but you'd have to have multiple scales next to you in order to play a piece like that. So the way people make up for that is that every note has an octave and a fifth. So you really have multiple notes on these instruments, so you could feasibly use a fifth or an octave to fill that in, but it's not common. And I didn't even realize this when I first started to write music. You should check out my albums, guys, if you haven't listened to my Rewild Your Soul albums on Spotify. I have 3 of them. But I didn't realize this when I first got into handpan, that most people didn't think about it as an instrument for writing. And for me, I always thought, oh, it's like guitar. You play a song. And that is the big difference between my teaching and my playing, is I'm writing pieces that I can repeat. And a lot of times people are improvising. And there's no shame, there's no harm. It's not a bad way to play improvising, but to get better at an instrument, it's easier to have something to play and to work on, rather than every time you sit down, you're starting from zero. And you're like, I'm gonna just practice this skill. And this is interesting, right? Like, I like this for about 10 seconds, but then it becomes kind of boring. It's a skill, but it doesn't make you a good player. What makes somebody a good player and a developed player is that you're able to apply those techniques in a particular way. So that's the trouble. So Crystal, if somebody is playing with you, they could play the chords A, C, D, B flat, and E. And if they've played a song within that chord range, you'll play along perfectly. If it's in 432, I forget if yours is 432 or not. But listen to the difference between technique by itself. This is just technique. It's cool. But technique, when you apply it in a song, sounds like... when there's something else happening besides just the technique itself. So, all right, let me catch up here. Yeah, Rav Moons are pretty amazing. I offer some travel pans that are really nice. I have a G-Sharp mini travel pan that I like a lot. Yeah, I agree, Oleg. Yes, Kurt is fantastic. Secret Jam, absolutely. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate it. Yeah, Kurt is just great. It's a great all-around scale, and it's nice because you can do a whole lot of different things with it. I'll play you something that's a little more waltzy that is different than what I've played so far. But hello, how are you? Okay, so this is a song that's in a 6, which is kind of funny. I have played chromatic instruments, but I find that they're very messy. So a lot of makers get around that by having 2 instruments that go together as a pair, but they're not actually attached together. Because the more half steps you add, the messier it becomes oftentimes. Привет. Thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. I appreciate you being here. So this is an example of a 6 count song. On the last album, but it will probably be on the future one. You'll notice that I have noticed too that I always have the coolest people in my lives, so I appreciate you guys. So to be honest with you, the point of these is not to involve music theory. I think a lot of the theory end of things is based around the percussion ends. But I think this is an instrument that helps you to listen rather than just rely on the theory. And this is coming from a guitar and other string instrument player. The opportunity's there if you feel like writing one on it too, so. Yeah, my pleasure. I wouldn't say it's more intuition. I had an easier time because I was already a guitar player. So I'm aware of the chord progressions that I'm using. But it's very pattern based across scales. So if you have a D minor, you have a certain set of triads and dyads available to you. It's supposed to be appealing to people that have no music theory as well. So anyone could pick it up without a huge musical background. But I'm kind of cheating because I play like 30 other instruments. Same to you. Yeah, Kira, so imagine you picked, the best way I can describe it is if you were looking at the instrument. Imagine, do you play other instruments, Kira? I imagine you do if you're asking me this question, but say you were a guitar player, like I am. It would be like you picked 4 chords, a 4-chord song on guitar. You kept all of the notes, you made the chords be triads rather than longer chords. And you stuck them on an instrument in a particular order. And so one half of the scale is one big chord, the other half is another big chord. Or if you break it down to dyads, there's multiple sets. So if I was playing, sometimes the notes can go across, usually more minor sounding combinations are that. But if I pick 3 chords that are on the same side, like say I did the 4, 6, 8, 3, 5, 7. So basically, if you're a guitar player, you can be aware of what's happening, but you can abstract from that and know the hand position is going to give you this chord. For people that don't want to learn music theory, they could be able to write something and say, like, I know that these notes go together, but I might not know what the notes are. So that's the appeal of the handpan for most people, is that I, as a multi-instrumentalist, could pick it up and I know what I'm doing. Other people could pick it up and also sound like they know what they're doing, even if they don't know what the heck they're playing. But for me, I prefer music that is song-based rather than just improvising all the time. And not just because I'm not a jam band type person, but I do appreciate and love other styles as well. So this beast is also another old one, which I need to put some oil on. This is 7 years old, maybe? And this is a C Golden Gate. And this is another example of them making just random names up for things. This one's very similar to the Marmara, which is a Aegean in handpan lingo. But listen to the vibe difference between the typical C minor, which I was just playing a second ago, and this is also in C, but completely different feeling. Have, feel free to ask them in the chat and I'll try to get to them. Wild that YouTube is really promoting these types of streams. I have 60 people in this. I think this is what they're looking for. Versions of these songs. I'm not just playing the whole time. Let's see. Questions. Piano. Yeah, piano. You're... Thank you, I appreciate that. I will take a screenshot so I can translate that after. Hope everyone's doing well. Hello to anybody in here. I will also translate that. Whoever is writing in Russian to me, message me what you're asking and I can translate it afterwards. I don't speak Russian, unfortunately, only a tiny bit. Not good at translating at least, but yes, it's kind of fun to see instruments being used in a new way. So let's see. How long have I been playing? I've been playing about 9 years total, but the RAV about 8, I'd say, or 7. What's my opinion on the common difference between the Nigerian convex Jamaican steel drums and the Chinese concave ones? So Ben, I would say between the two of them, I think the whole, first off, you should look up the Panart documentary, P-A-N-A-R-T documentary. Panart was the first company to really produce the handpan. But they call it the Hong, and it was made in Bern, Switzerland. And Panart were actually steel drum makers. So they studied in Trinidad. There's a big steel drum explosion of interest in Switzerland in the 80s. and pan art ended up becoming one of the leading makers in Switzerland. And they were visited by a person, again, watch the documentary for a more detailed explanation, but they were visited by a percussionist who said, oh, what would happen if you took those two shells and you glued them together? How would that change the sound? And when they did that, they created this huge, like, pot-bellied instrument. And it sounded pretty good with your hands, but they needed to make it smaller. So they figured out a way to kind of compress the size of it, and it became the hong. And the hong was instantaneously popular and a hit. And they told the world how they were making it. And it became this worldwide phenomenon. YouTube obviously changed things for the company a lot, so they started to feel a little spiteful about the popularity of it. And then they changed their opinion and decided that it was their intellectual copyright. And they did copyright some of the processes and started to pursue legal action against different companies that were using that shape. But a lot of the desire was that they just couldn't make enough. They were so amazing, as you can imagine by hearing these, that a one company couldn't keep up with it. So there's been a long-standing legal issue there. But the argument against Felix and Sabina, they would say that their instrument is in the lineage of the Caribbean steel drum, but it is not a Caribbean steel drum because of the nitriding process they use instead of the chroming, because of tuning an octave and fourth or an octave and fifth on modern instruments, and also the dimples being used to control the harmonics. Whereas a steel drum, the sort of like shrieking bright harmonics are the feature of that sound. So they're going for a different thing, but it was initially made by somebody who already was a steel drum tuner. And one of the really early US tuners, Kyle Cox and also David Beery, were both steel drum tuners before they made the handpan. So it's part of that same tradition. Elie Manette, who owns Manette's Musical Instruments, he was the guy that really took the steel drum and made it into a professional performance instrument and brought it to the US. And there was all sorts of drama around that as well. But Elie Manette was so in love with the sound and worked and developed the instrument so much further that he wanted to share it with the world. So it's kind of like that thing where I get the cultural tradition thing. I respect where it comes from, but there's really no more beautiful way to share a culture than through music. And I think this is the handpan is in the lineage, and the rav too are in the lineage of the steel drum, but they're not steel drum. So that was a long answer to a short question. I'm sure you will, Ben. Hello, Hager. How do you feel about the new Rav Moon? So, yeah, the Galaxy was just a normal tongue drum. The Rav Moon are going to be revolutionary. I have a couple heading my way, so hopefully I'm able to do a review this week for them. But I'm going to be doing a live stream where I'm going to be opening them all up and demoing every single one that they're offering. So I am very excited because there hasn't been a new invention in the Rav world in many, many years. So, and the new shape of the tongues is going to change the harmonics. It's going to be amazing. So I'm particularly excited about it. I will report back. Yeah, the birds in the background are kind of nice. No, don't apologize, my friend. No. Anastasia. Let's see. Thanks. Nice time here. Yes, hope to see you around. What country is everybody in from, by the way? So the Jamaican, sorry, Ben. Jamaican steel drum versus Chinese handpan. Jamaican steel drum long before that, 60s, 70s, 80s in Trinidad. The Chinese handpan were copied from the instruments made in Switzerland by Pan Art. And the current version, the handpan, which is made in China as well, was taken from that lineage. So, sorry, I misspoke. I had a D major Rav Vast. Yeah, I think if you think about it in terms of what notes you have, you'll be very bored with Ravs or handpans or harmonicas or diatonic scales. The interest for handpans is that the sort of innovation within limitations. So even on, this is a scale that I find I don't have many pieces written for. A D minor, I have 10 or 15 pieces that I could play for you right now. So you have to kind of pick a scale that matches it, but major scales always feel major. So I understand why you'd feel that way on the D major, but there are a lot more things to say, but it has to do with thinking about dyads and not so much as thinking about chord progressions and changes. So for anybody here that plays the handpan or the rev, I do one-on-one lessons with people all over the world, so would love to work together in my song-based lessons. So be in touch. Rewild Your Soul Music on Instagram and also on Spotify and iTunes. Rewild Your Soul. You can find most of my albums. Let me look. Yeah, I actually have a hung up in the house. Yes, of course. Yes, I can play, yeah. Hegemony. Let's see. All right. Hang Massive. Let's see. Did you say? Yes, Pan Art. P-A-N-A-R-T documentary, Ben. Yes, curly hair. Let's see. France. Very nice. Very nice. Yes, we need to play sometime, Mr. Interexistence. It'd be fun. I'm in Massachusetts. SoCal, Alabama. Thank you. Yes, I like the shirt. Do we ever do a giveaway? So yes is the answer to that. Someone actually just won at a handpan event I played at in California. Someone won an ELO pygmy, but yes, that does definitely happen. Is Ben speaking? Correct. I think Ben's talking about whether the Trinidadian steel drum came before the Chinese version, which yes is the answer, of course. I love the G pygmy, D Celtic. Yeah, I think the D pygmy is going to be pretty good. Phantom tone. We shall see. All right, Ager. Let's see. We have a serious question. Which is the greatest? Your collection of instruments, your collection. I think you're asking me which is larger. I have almost as many hats as I have handpans. Hello, Aaron. I have a lot of handpans. I do have a lot of hats. But I think I have more handpans and ravs than I do hats. But I definitely have more shirts than both of those, to answer your question. Good, I'm glad that you like the new album. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you, I appreciate it. What are your thoughts on the new Rav Moon? Thomas, if you're still in here, I am excited to try the new... I am very excited to try the new Rav Moon, for sure. Hello from Massachusetts. My pleasure. I have not had that happen, Rattly Oak, but I'm sure it could possibly happen, for sure. I have had a Rattly Oak play mandolin on my album as well. I actually didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. Isn't it interesting the YouTube algorithm prefers this type of streaming? Perfect. I appreciate you feeding the algorithm for me, Aaron. Everyone should go and follow Mr. Rattly Oaks. I think that counts, yeah. It's so funny, I need to get over it because I'm someone that's known online for these instruments, but I'm just not a big social media person. So I need to be better about doing that if I wish to continue to market lessons and my music, of course. Just listening out, I do Rav and Handpan lessons. You can message me on rewildyoursoulmusic.com. My email's there, and also my Instagram, and pretty much everywhere is labeled as that. So I know Adam actually. He's a nice guy. get to them right after I finish this. Right. Dubstep would be kind of fun, actually, yeah. Ah, Turkey, amazing, amazing. Thank you for hanging out. I think that would be kind of funny to do dubstep. Yes, yes, we are at 8 o'clock here. Aaron is also in Massachusetts, one time ever for me, Mr. Rewildyoursoul. It's a sliding scale for classes, so it's a whole range depending on what people can pay, because depending on the country you're from, what you make, you know. But you can email me and message me, and we can figure it out if you're interested. Yes, Adam is hilarious with your Lenny. So first handpan Glaz 9001. I think it depends on your range. I think if you want something that you're not going to replace, and you know that you really want to play, there's a lot of, if you're in the US, Aura Handpans probably sells the cheapest instrument. They're around $850, $900. You can get a high quality handpan for around $1,000 to $1,200 if you want to have a performance, hopefully performance quality instrument. A lot of people in this stream as well have said they purchased some on Temu. The problem with Temu is you just don't know what type of quality you're going to get, and a lot of handpan makers will refuse to retune them. So you kind of make the choice of, like, you're accepting that it's cheaper, but it may be okay, may be horrible, you don't know. But I guess there's a return policy for things. But US makers, Ismuth, Aura, Axiom, Dave's Island Instruments. Oasis is a more expensive maker, but he's a fantastic builder. Pantheon Steel is still kind of making instruments. And there's other ones too. I'm forgetting about some of them, but those are the US makers. In Europe, you can get a handpan much more easily, and there's even handpan shops all over Europe. So if you look there, you can find that. Let me catch anybody else here. What music did I like when I was younger? I'm a big fan of heavier music. I like to still like Slipknot and Korn and world music as well. So I always wish my translation was better for Russian here. Dubstep, yes. Techno would be fun. Appreciate you, Ian. This instrument is from Italy. It's called Sonido di Mano. Axiom is a great choice. I love Axiom instruments. 3301. D-Celtic is great as well. Marmara is a scale that I convinced them to put into production. So, yes, Red Leox, I did sell a kidney. Rumor has it that I'm very wealthy in terms of handpans, but it's definitely true handpan wise, but not realistic wise. I work with a lot of makers, as you guys can probably guess. 100%. There's a swap and sell page on Facebook for anybody that's looking. You can get really reasonably priced instruments there. Like I have a Nirvana handpan. It's an Acolyte instrument. It's made in the US, and that one I think is 1,100 new, and I'm selling this one for $950. So there's ones that are in a good price range as well. Yes, Ismuth, recommend them. Yes, of course, other countries. I'm hoping to go to Europe next year and do some performing there. So yes, classic. Yeah, you should definitely try to make it, Neiman, for sure. Routine. Weird. Do we have any way out there or quirky weird tune? That's a good question. I don't really know. That's a good question. I think probably the weirdest song is already on an album, but it uses a lot of dissonance. Yeah, this one. Ooh. I always forget that the ground becomes a little wet. Pull this guy back up. So this one probably has the most dissonance and is funky. This one isn't too weird. Aaron. I should put you in a timeout for that, Aaron, on here. In terms of other music that I like the band Yesayer a lot. Yeah, I have 3 albums, Neiman. If you check out my Spotify, it's Rewild Your Soul. I just put out an album last month and 2 other studio albums before that. So check out Rewild Your Soul, REWILDYOUR Soul, on Spotify. Tell Vika, okay, yes. Maybe it is my accents. The brass handpan I have is Luna Sound Sculptures. Sebastian, my friend, makes that. Highly recommended. It's a very, very good instrument. I wish I could translate for my friend writing in Russian right now. Yes, Internal Sun is a good one for sure. If you do order from Sebastian, he has full moon and new moon, and the full moon is the large instrument that I have. The new moon is a normal size handpan, but it's still the same material. So highly recommend you check him out, and tell him I sent you because he's just a super nice guy. I'm gonna grab one other instrument for you guys. Neotone. Lunas are very special. They're very, very unique instruments. So. To the Russian friend in here that I can communicate with, the joke in the U.S. is that people who speak 3 languages are trilingual, 2 languages bilingual, and 1 language American. So pretty much every other country speaks more languages than us. Hello, Nap. I'm gonna play you guys one more song. This is good. I need to do more of these lives because apparently people come to these things. So, one sec. I'm gonna grab one more. I think I need to do more vertical strings. Okay. All right, last tune. All right. Yes, this would be a very sad robbery to have all of my instruments taken. So this instrument, I love this instrument. So, can you guess the scale of this? Not Aaron, because I know you're going to know this one. I get that a lot. Scale, guys, or even the key. Yes. seen that before, yeah. Do you have any experience with that? Thanks for hanging out, guys. Mr. Neiman. Yes. Good guess, Mr. Interexistence. It's also recorded through an iPhone, so it's a lot better than you think. The problem with the low instruments is on live streams I always sound bad, you know. That's awesome. Yeah, anybody interested in collaborating, feel free to write to me on Instagram or wherever else you exist. Oh, interesting. Oh, you're in Scotland. That's amazing. I've always wanted to go to Scotland. Yeah, it's just the dynamics. You lose the lower notes, especially on F2s. But it is what it is. Switzerland. I'm looking for a reason to go to Europe next year, so. The streams I'm going to be doing now are going to be a little bit better because I figured out a different system for doing them through OBX. Massachusetts. Last time you mentioned that it dropped down to 48 shows. Your craziest drum. Yeah, so craziest drum. Yeah, I can show you that. Last one. So that was an F2 Pygmy 17 note, by the way. Watch my emotions. I don't know. Does this person who has the Russian username with the sort of colorful thing, do you work with Rav or a friend of the people at Rav as well? 100%. Everybody needs peace, and people are always good. I think it's a trick to group the people that live in a place with the country. You know, all people are good, or I think people are inherently good but can do bad things. But I think that when you separate from the country, you can see the person as an individual, not part of the country, whether it's American or otherwise. So wishing everybody peace. Let me show you the weirdest instrument I have, and then I'm going to finish this. So I'll tell you a funny story quickly before I play. So don't I know my emotions? In terms of what? I might have missed what you were asking me. Victoria. Okay. Gotcha. So this is the weirdest instrument. This is called the Handpan. And it's tuned to just an octave. And it doesn't have the fifth like a normal handpan would, so it has a little bit different of a sound. Yeah, I play about 30-something instruments. I play guitar, a bunch of string instruments, flutes, all sorts of funky, weird things. Maybe I'll do a stream using strange instruments sometime as well. So, yes. Yes. So this instrument's held together with rivets. It's kind of like screwed together, and on the inside of it, there's a bit to control the sound of the harmonics. This is a soft border instrument, and this guy, his name's Marty, he lives in a van and he makes these handpans. He's been making them forever. And there's almost no indication. Like if you just look at it, you can barely even see there are notes here. And it sounds amazing though. I think you will love it. Very crisp and sparkly, so. My corrector is a troll. Hey. You're making me want to do a Twitch stream now. I am on Instagram, but I need to go to Twitch now that everyone's telling me to do that. Steel drum, except it has less harmonics. bad out here. Pretty amazing instrument. Very, very amazing instrument. So, yeah. It's because there's no other fit, just the harmonic. So it's a very pure sound. I nailed it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Depends on the day if I'm on task or not. I wish I knew Russian. So many Russian-speaking people here today. Well, I appreciate you guys, and thank you to anybody who said something that I couldn't respond to in Russian. Hi, Megalyn. Hope you're doing well. I'm glad this stream is getting out to more people. I'm from Massachusetts, so in the U.S., but east side of the U.S. But I grew up in Antigua, which is in the West Indies and the Caribbean. So, yes, handpans are expensive. I think tongue drums are a great, less expensive place to start. Even if you start on a cheaper Amazon tongue drum, if you get one that has the layout kind of in a circle, then it'll be an okay place to start. So, yeah. All right, thank you guys for listening. I have no clue. Person with the rainbow username in Russian. What's your username? I'm curious. Yes, music. I'll play you one more piece before I get destroyed by bugs, okay? Good, I'm glad. I'm glad. 3:42 a.m., I presume. I would love if my neighbors came out and jammed. A lot of my neighbors are older here on the farm, so they, I don't know how happy they'd be about that, but you never know. I'll play you guys one more piece before I head in. bugs are too bad. Good, I'm glad you guys have subscribed. So, thank you. Good. This one actually was on the album. It's called Wallflower, but it sounds very different on the pan as well. So, everybody here, appreciate you, love you. Hope you have a great rest of your nights. And I will certainly start checking out Twitch as well. Many people have said that about Wallflower. I didn't expect that, but a lot of people like that one. So glad you enjoyed it. Check out my YouTube channel. Obviously, you're on it. And Instagram, Rewild Your Soul. And rewildyoursoulmusic.com is my website. And hello from Massachusetts, Thomas. And check out my albums on Spotify and iTunes, just for Rewild Your Soul. There's Handpan albums, there's Rev albums. Rattly Oaks, if he's still here, is also on an album playing mandolin. And if you're interested in lessons and performances, come check me out there. But you guys were amazing. Thanks for hanging out. Privet. Das Vidania. Yes, yes. The bugs are too bad here. But I'll try to do more streams. But check out my new album, my friends. And I shall talk to you very soon. Enjoy your day. I'll probably try to do one tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So I'm gonna hopefully keep them on a more regular basis. All right, appreciate you guys. Stay well. You can watch this back too if you missed it. It's gonna be up. It's gonna be loaded up on YouTube in a second anyway. So stay well, friends. Talk to you soon. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Das Vidania.